Welcome Diecast fans, I'm Tom Spanners Watson.
And I'm Frank the Guru Gibbs.
Welcome to another DSPN report. We've got lots of very cool stuff tonight, some great racing, some cool news, and of course Stunt of the Week, so stick around, we've got a great show. Kicking off to begin with, we've got Big Poppy's 2020 Diecast games. There is still time to pick the winner of the competition over on Big Poppy's channel. There'll be a link in the description. Go and have a look. And a shout out to Kit Kayam for his Pinks for the Cure charity race. So there is still time, I believe, to get cars in for that. That is due 1st of October.
Then over on redlinederby.com, there's a great new article out about your content workflow. So how to create your content, how you do it, what's your workflow to do it. So anybody that's new to it or thinking about it, don't know where to start, it's a great place for you to go and have a look and see what other people are doing. You might get some great ideas.
Moving into drag racing, we kick off as always with Hot Car Track. Now it was a bit special this week because it was the Club Championship Finals. And of course, I was there to guest commentate along with Chris from Tune Tracks Racing. Now there was some epic racing. He had bikes going down the fat track, which were just mental. These things are all over the place. There was a grudge match between Mike Dyson and Po Boy, and there was some excellent racing there. Chris actually commentated along with Hot Car Track on that one, and then we took over for the race for 4th place with NZ Racing and Mark D, and there was an epic battle. Check this finish out here with Scorpio Love Smith just sneaking in at the end.
Then Diecast Dragger, he's off again with more tight racing on his new track. So this was his Japanese car tournament, and definitely worthwhile checking out. There's some great little races there, and I love what he's done with this new track.
And Josh over at Rust Belt Racing kicked off Friday night food fights. So check this out tonight, it should be up again. Running these food trucks down this classic little course. So a little bit different to the Skydrop. Really entertaining races. Highly recommend it. Go and check it out.
Moving into tournaments, we've got 3D Bolt Makers Camaro Summer Tournament carried on again. And this tournament is just getting better and better each week. I mean, some of these races are just brilliant. There's some fantastic overtakes, a little bit of carnage, which, you know, we always like here at the Canyon. But just some beautiful races and some very nice cars, and look at how close this finishes here. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And of course, talking carnage, there's this little flip here. You do get another look at it.
Oh man, that just looks painful. Then Mike over at RTR Diecast Racing League continued on with his Camaro vs Firebird tournament. Some very tight racing, and again, last minute overtakes, great to see.
Chris over at Tune Tracks Racing had his big championship final, and this Viper here, which snaked out the GTR last week, tried to pull the same manoeuvre on this Ford, and he was having none of it. Tries to jump the track, gets the nose of the Ford, and just gets flipped right off the track, or flipped over on his back. Just brilliant.
And Flat Rabbit had another race series again. So this particular run is running 4 cars down the track at a time. So makes it very, very interesting. Lots of carnage on this track. A lot of people bailing on this jump, which, you know, we love. That's why we love the jump at the Canyon.
And Nines Diecast continues on with his championship races, his 81 car tournament. And there is lots of cool races going on there. As we said last week, it's only a short track, but still some great little manoeuvres here. I mean, this funny car is well out in front, but then just comes down to right on the finish line, just gets overtaken. It's absolutely brilliant.
Jackson Pass Speedway again had 2 races. This race here was brilliant. Car well out in front, rolls, and then John Tran just slips through, driving nice and clean. As we say at the Canyon all the time, it's not about being fast, it's about being clean.
Widowmaker Run moves into tournaments this week because he's finally started racing. We've highlighted this track a couple of times, and it is an absolute monster track. I mean, you get a bit of an overview on this run here with all the different cameras, and it's just a brilliant track, and we love it that it finishes off with a massive jump.
Now, we mentioned John Tran before. This is his track, and this is an absolute beauty of a track. Great racing, lots of interest, and you'll see here coming down, they've even got a little jump, which still causes carnage. We'll go back and have a look at the replay. So the Impala at the back there just gets wide, clips the sign, and then absolutely pounds a couple of spectators.
Yeah, you got to be careful around these races. They're all over the place. And speaking of carnage, mate, check this out.
Holy smokes! How many cars wiped out there?
Yeah, this is a great track. It's a revamp of what he's had before, but that jump is just brilliant. It wasn't always carnage, like just there, 4 cars got through beautifully.
Wow, that's really impressive. Go and have a look at his track. And then Indiana Diecast Racing with some very tight finishes and exciting stuff there, and more cars getting flipped and spun around. And we love that. You know, we love it when things don't go exactly to plan. It keeps things interesting.
And speaking of keeping things interesting, the Looney Mooney's second event, I mean, we sent 4 different cars down over 4 different races, and the rally cars just absolutely pumping the jump there. It was brilliant. But then in the final, we sent one of each vehicle down. You can see there was a food truck. And speaking of the food truck, check out what happens to it here. So there's some big jumps from everybody, but the rally car and the food truck go over. The food truck gets up on the outside of Kahuna Corner there, and just check out this roll here. It's absolutely brutal, but he manages to avoid everybody and get back on his wheels.
Well, don't forget the Escort drifting around the outside of him there as well. And moving into street racing, 3D Botmaker continues on with his King of the Mountain tournament. Now this is really starting to heat up. It was round number 7 this time, and this was the working vehicles, I believe he called it. So these are vans, trucks, SUVs, and there was some really good racing and a little bit brutal as well. Guys getting flipped over, smashed around the track, but just some really good racing. Great fun to watch. Highly recommend it. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it already.
And speaking of cool racing, DRC and their yard race, this track is absolutely beautiful, and there were some great races. I mean, this one here where the VW spins out and then the Escort comes in, smacks into him, gets him back on the track. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, that is such a cool theme on this track. I really like what they've done there. And Diecast Racer X with his NSH road race. This track is really fast, and that first chicane is absolutely brutal. We've actually seen a few cars flip over in that, but it just scrubs the speed off and evens up the teams. It's a really fun track to watch. As you can see here, it's got lots of twists and turns, combination of very wide track and narrow track. Have a look at those ones.
Then War on I-4 continues on with his grudge races, and these are absolutely brilliant. You see here the Cougar Eliminator just blazing ahead, but then the other car comes up the inside, but you have to go over to his channel to check out who wins.
Simon over at Hot Car Track running the Road Warriors. We just wanted to show you this wee clip. Boom, straight over the top. You see the Ford there backing in, and the other car goes straight over the top of it. It was so cool.
And then Frank's Corner, we were very lucky to be put in touch this week with Wreckers End, also in New Zealand. This guy does handmade crashed vehicles, and these things are absolutely spectacular. He's building a massive junkyard. He's got thousands of cars, and he just works on them to make them look like they've been in a proper accident. And these are just brilliant. This is only a small sampling of some of his photos and some of his cars. We're hoping to actually go out and catch up with him and maybe have a closer look at some of these vehicles. But we just absolutely love what he's doing. And there's a link to his Facebook group. He doesn't have a YouTube channel yet, but have a look. It's really cool stuff.
And in Track Spy, we've got quite a few this week. We've got Hawkeye Hauler Diecast. This was a new track that we found just this week, and it's a combination of 6-lane drag track into a fat track. And really cool little race here, coming around and then finishing into the sand. And he's also got just straight drag track as well. Then Milk Monster was another one that we found. So this is all handmade cardboard track. And this is the sort of thing we like to see, you know. Don't worry about how much you're spending. Don't worry about buying the perfect track. Get out, make it, have some fun. And that's what we really love to see. And then finally, Brunhilde Hills Race Complex. We really like this one. It's a nicely themed track, but there's a little addition here that we haven't seen on any other tracks. And it's our four-legged friends, which are about to make an appearance right there. Dog's getting very excited there, really wanting to take part. and just adds to the chaos, and we love that.
And then in grassroots racing, we found Summers Raceway. So this is a very short track, but it's brutal. It's a 4-lane to 2-lane to 1-lane short drag track. Check that out. I love this. All these cars just get flipped out of the track if they don't get there in time. It's absolutely brilliant. Hadn't seen that one before.
And then finally, Stunt of the Week. Had to go to Canyon again and Stuntman Sam for this piece of brilliance, jumping a truck and trailer unit massively. And not just that, but he did it completely without wrecking. That thing should have been totaled, but he does a beautiful, huge jump, lands it, not only gets around the corner, but runs it all the way to the finish. If you haven't seen it, check out our channel. It's on there. You'll see the full thing, and it's absolutely fantastic. Alright, that's enough for this week. We hope you've enjoyed this show. As always, head over to redlinederby.com. Check out everything that's going on there. There's lots of good information. You really want to take part in that community. It's really, really good stuff. If you want to be part of the DSPN report, please go to the DSPN forum on redlinederby.com. There's a link in the description. Post your channel in there, alright? That lets us know that we're allowed to use your video. If we don't have permission from you, we can't use it. Okay, that's enough from us. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We'll see you next time.
So when are we going to tell everyone about the Outlaws and what that is?
I think next week, mate. Next week will be fine. We've still got some time before they all get here.
Can't wait to get into that one. It's going to be so much fun.